There's a big difference between knowing what your next level requires and actually stepping into it. And that difference usually shows up in a very specific moment. You're feeling inspired, motivated, and clear. You know what needs to change. You've watched all the trainings. You've made some plans. But your day-to-day behavior still hasn't changed. Okay? It's like your mind is like, let's go, we've got this. And your body's like, oh, I'm comfortable here, right? So your behavior really hasn't changed, and neither have your results. See, you're feeling frustrated because your business hasn't moved the way you expected it to. Even though you're clear on what needs to happen, your routines, decisions, and habits and actions haven't exactly caught up yet. And today, we're talking about how you actually step into, fully integrate, and deeply embody your next level as an entrepreneur. Over the last several days, we've been really unpacking and having deeper conversations about how entrepreneurs actually operate at the next level and what needs to shift as entrepreneurs grow. You've gained clarity, you've probably felt internal shifts, and that matters. But clarity alone doesn't create change. What creates change is what you commit to after clarity. You see, your next level doesn't arrive because you understand more intellectually. It arrives because you decide differently and act consistently. See, action, right? So it's like intellect and action together, okay? Not one without the other, right? Intellect without action doesn't move. But action without understanding and intellect, well, you can even move in circles. You see, you need both together. And that decision shows up in three very specific ways. That decision to decide differently, to act differently, okay? Now, the first decision to get to your next level as an entrepreneur is ownership. You have to take ownership. Stepping into your next level really requires real ownership, not hoping things work out, not waiting to feel confident, not treating your business like something you try. See, ownership is the moment you decide. You say, you know what? This is mine to build, and how it performs reflects how I show up. You know, I worked with a client who had really strong ideas and real potential, but she kept hesitating on decisions because she didn't want to make the wrong one. I'm sure this sounds familiar because a lot of times we can be so perfectionist, right? We can be so, we don't want to mess things up, right? And that shows up with procrastination. But once we shifted her into ownership, where decisions became data, not personal judgments, her confidence grew fast. You see, the business didn't magically get easier, but she stopped second guessing herself and momentum finally started to build. See, ownership isn't about having it all figured out. It's the willingness to take responsibility and keep moving forward even when the path isn't fully clear yet. It's about faith. It's about knowing that, you know what? I might not have all the answers, but I'm going to move forward with the answers I do have, right? So it's kind of like, let's say you you get in a car and you say, okay, I'm going to go to this place. And you enter maybe the address in the GPS. You know your destination. Okay, you know your destination. But also you accept that along the way, there may be detours, there may be construction, there may be roads that are closed, potholes, right? You might have to veer off the lane. Maybe you need to go use the restroom, right? Or pick up some lunch along the way. So your starting point is clear. Your destination is crystal clear, but you accept that there's fluctuations along the way, right? But the destination doesn't change. You're certain this is your destination. That's what I want you to keep in mind is you've made the decision to, as an entrepreneur, to start this business. The destination is not going to change. And you trust that as you continue to drive forward, okay, there's going to be challenges along the way. You accept that. There's going to be obstacles along the way. You accept that. But you're going to move through, over, under, or around. You're going to do whatever it takes to get there. You see, it means staying engaged through both the good and the challenging moments, really leading through certainty and uncertainty, and not stepping back just because clarity hasn't fully arrived yet. You trust in yourself and you trust in the process, and you know that you're going to figure it out. Now, the second decision to get to your next level as an entrepreneur is consistency and knowing how to stay motivated to maintain your consistency. See, most entrepreneurs don't struggle with motivation at the beginning. They struggle with motivation after the excitement fades. See, high performers don't rely on motivation. They build systems and routines that carry them forward when motivation dips. And they also use habit stacking. So for instance, if a habit isn't really gelled, they tend to habit stack so that it flows easy in the day. Okay? And so I did this. So for example, in my business, I rely a lot on social media for my marketing channels. And so I rely on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And so, but I mostly do Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And so in order for me to get consistent, I realized that, okay, in the morning, once I get on my computer, there's certain things that I look at, emails, etc. And so I did a tracker, because I'd post on one platform and then another, and just kind of sporadically. And there was no clear way of tracking my consistency. So what I ended up doing was I created a little tracker for myself. So I know what days I posted where, and if I missed a day, it's very clear. So I can see, okay, if I see several areas of gray, oops, I'm not being consistent here. See, and the goal is consistency. It doesn't necessarily mean every single day, but it does mean establishing a cadence. And possibly a tracker is a good way for you that'll keep you honest and keep you consistent. So everyone is gonna have a different method to get there, but use the method that works best for you. You know, consistency really comes from removing the friction, not adding the pressure. So it comes from simple routines, protected focus, and clear priorities. Motivation stays alive when you see progress. So you start with motivation, and that's good. And motivation it's like a tool. It has its purpose. But motivation is not going to be consistent throughout. See, motivation gets you started, and then consistency kicks in. And the consistency is going to continue to fuel that motivation so that you're more leveled. Okay? And sometimes, some days you're not going to feel it. Some days you're not going to be motivated. But because you have that habit now ingrained, or you have that tracker that's there, you're just going to, perform out of the routine, out of habit, out of systems. Okay? So that's going to be what's going to support you and carry you through when you're not feeling in the mood to do the things. See? You feel supported, and you know you're not doing this alone. You're not doing this alone because, you are supported through the routines, the habits, and the systems. One client I work with would start strong every month and then lose momentum just after a few weeks. What we did was we simplified her routines, created weekly checkpoints, and focused on progress instead of perfection. And once consistency replaced intensity, her motivation stopped disappearing because she could actually see herself moving forward. You see? So she'd get little cycles of hiccups of motivation, right? Hiccups of motivation. And that's when she would act. But what we did is we took motivation completely out of the picture, okay? And that way we put consistency in the forefront. And consistency through what? Through systems, habits, right? And routines, okay? And that is what supported her through. And because motivation relies on performance and results and consistency, her motivation was able to be sustained, okay, through that structure. I'm hoping that makes sense. So because she could actually see herself moving forward, that's why her motivation was able to be sustained, you see. So motivation doesn't come from hype, right? From emotions. It comes from evidence, and consistency creates that evidence, right? So you want to bear in mind that you want to decouple your performance or your ability to show up. Just remove the whole motivation thing, okay? It's unreliable. It's unreliable. Don't rely on something that is weak and flailing and fluctuates. Now, the third decision to get to your next level as an entrepreneur is the environment you put yourself in that can sustain your next level through support and accountability. This is the part that many entrepreneurs resist, but it's the part that makes everything stick. And I think the entrepreneurs resist it because a lot of times there's this independence that's great, and that's really got you this far. But a lot of times it's hard for you to delegate and rely on a team, rely on an extension of your team for support. Because a lot of times, we think we got it, right? That's fine, I can do it myself. But there comes a time when support and accountability and just knowing that you're not alone, that you have a team with you, supporting you, celebrating your wins, that helps. That really, really, really helps. Okay? Because sometimes it can get lonely, and that loneliness can really affect us, right? We've all been there. Okay? Really having a community and having support is the part that helps make everything stick. You cannot step into a new level while staying in the same environment with the same patterns and the same internal conversations. See, your next level needs reinforcement, and it needs structure around you, not just willpower inside of you. You see, and that's why it's so important to have a community that's supportive. It's like a reinforcement. So when you're feeling like you're falling, there's someone that's going to pick you right up before you fall, you see? So I've seen this again and again. Clients who were capable, committed, and clear, they still struggle to maintain momentum on their own. But once they entered a supportive container with accountability, structure, and guidance, guess what? Consistency stopped being a battle, right? They didn't have to get motivated every week, right? Or force themselves to be consistent. No, the environment did that work for them. The environment cheered them on, celebrated their wins so they can keep going. And that's exactly why the Six-Figure Business Society exists. I created the Six-Figure Business Society because I needed a supported group. I wanted to be around other like-minded, high-performing entrepreneurs and business owners that really are self-motivated, but they also want to feel a sense of community, right? It's a group coaching container designed to help you maintain momentum, stay motivated, and follow through with what you committed and the promises you made for yourself. See, if you show up as an entrepreneur, think of all of the other people that can benefit from you showing up, right? You see, you're going to want to stay motivated long after the new year energy fades. Not through pressure, but through clarity, structure, and shared accountability. And if you're still here watching this, it's really because you already know you're ready for more. The question now isn't whether you can do this, it's whether you're willing to commit and operate differently when no one's watching, right? It's really a decision. Are you ready to decide for yourself? You see, your next level doesn't require perfection, it requires alignment. An alignment between who you say you want to be and how you structure your days. An alignment between your goals and your routines. Alignment between your desire for growth and the environment that you place yourself in. So here's your next step. I want you to go ahead and click the link in the description box below if this feels aligned, so that you can place yourself in the environment that's really going to support you, give you that support, accountability, celebrate you, okay? And just that sense of community. You are never alone. You are supported, Okay? So I want you to choose one commitment that you're making that's going to help you step into your next level of all the things that we covered today. And then I want you to put yourself in an environment that supports that decision. Because the difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't more information. Okay, you have that. We've had 10 days chock full of juicy information that really step you through that comprehensive strategic plan for you to be successful this year. Okay, you don't need more information. Now you need action. Okay, it's time for you to decide and then take action based on that decision. It's about who you choose to be consistently. And if you're ready to do this with support, accountability, and guidance, again, click the link below and join me inside the Six Figure Business Society, a community of like-minded entrepreneurs committed to building real momentum and sustainable growth. Now, before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me one commitment that you're making as you step into your next level. You know, naming it creates ownership, and ownership is what creates real change. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because this conversation doesn't stop here. My next series is about business strategy. This is something that's been in my heart. I cannot wait to do a deep dive into this topic of business strategy. I think it's perfect. It's aligned with, kicking off your business with a framework, okay? How to think strategically. You're gonna learn how to create clear strategic plans and build a business that's aligned, focused, and intentional. Now remember, your next level doesn't begin later, it begins now, okay? So decide. Oceans of love and light, until next time.